Hello, howdy, welcome. I'm Hannah, and today I want to talk about all of the makeup that I've purchased so far in 2024. I guess one could call this like a collective haul, but I think it's a little bit better than a haul because all the makeup I've used to various degrees, so I can give you some thoughts about the makeup having owned them for a couple weeks or months. I always found that so weird in like haul culture. I'm sure there's still a lot of people on YouTube that are doing like hauls on the reg, but the people that I watch nowadays, it's not like, I'm not watching haul channels. So I'm not sure if it's like the same idea, but I remember back in the day people being like, I bought this 2 weeks ago and I've been so good for you guys. I've been waiting to use it so I can haul it. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just use it? And then in the haul, you can give like your first impression on it. So this is the kind of haul where I can give you at least my first impression. I can let you know if it's something that I've been reaching for, how my thoughts have evolved over the course of owning it. And yeah, let's dive in. I might make a whole separate video about kind of how my buying habits have changed, if anyone's interested in that, but I will just quickly mention here that this is the first year in several years that I'm not tracking the inventory for my makeup collection as I go. So I kind of removed that layer of incentive to purchase as little as possible. So these are the things that I'm buying. I mean, as someone who wants to have a curated makeup collection, but also as someone who wants to be able to create some content on YouTube about it and feel excited about makeup. So that's kind of the context that all of these purchases have been made through. I'm gonna go roughly in time order, quite roughly, because I'm going to mention all of my Pretties for Your Face purchases first. You can ignore these couple, these are the old ones, but these are all the ones that I purchased this year. If you missed it, I did do a video a couple weeks ago where I swatched the sparkly ones, I hand swatched the less sparkly ones, but I'm mentioning it at the top of the video because it's something that I wanted to buy before 2023 ended. That's what I started kind of like looking through the Pretties for Your Face website again and making a little card and saying, that looks interesting, and kind of like cross-referencing swatch pictures, like doing all those things. But in 2023, I was trying to limit the amount of things that I brought in because my inventory was fluid with my clothing inventory, and buying 20 Pretties for Your Face shadows at the end of the year would have meant that I would have to declutter 20 other makeup or clothing items, and I wasn't prepared to do that. So I waited until 2024, I waited for some good sales, and I paid great prices for these. My number one Pretties for Your Face recommendation, they have sales all the time. Don't buy things regular price, but also keep an eye on the sales and buy during the best sales. Some of these I bought during like a $2 Tuesday, which is a better deal than the 50% off sale, especially because with the $2 Tuesday, you could combine a influencer code, and for the half off sale, at least the time that I bought from it, you couldn't. I still feel like I'm in the process of getting to know a lot of these, and I look at them fondly. Like, I look at them and I'm excited to wear them. I actually think I want to create a palette where I mix them in with some like mattes that I'm more comfortable grabbing on an everyday basis, because I've done some really gorgeous cool tone looks using these satins as like the building block of the eyelids. And while I do really like it, it's a very specific look, and I think I might use these more if it seemed more accessible to just put them on with like a regular transition shade that I often reach for. I did do a look with Legend the other day. I don't think I took a picture. I've been pretty bad about that recently, and I apologize, but it looked so cool. It looked so glowy on my eyelid. I really feel like I have nothing else like it. I'm excited to use this more, and I'm excited to get to know this little selection of eyeshadows better. I really feel like my faith in Pretties for Your Face has been restored, or what's the word for restored, but it's like I got it for the first time. Because in the past I had very little faith in them, and now I'm like, I'm on board with Pretties for Your Face. The next is a brand that I feel like I'm totally alone in enjoying, but I really thoroughly enjoy the products that I've enjoyed. What a great sentence. The brand I'm talking about is Kylie Cosmetics. I had a gift card to Ulta from a family member for Christmas, and I've been looking at this all matte palette for a while. I think it came out maybe like the end of last summer, and I wanted it then, but my biggest hang up is the fact that it's so similar to the Mauves palette. I think the only difference is the Mauves palette has like rose gold pinky type, and this one has silver type. But as I'm reaching in my makeup collection, they're essentially the same. This Mauves palette, going back a little bit, I had bought this, I think it was around my birthday in like 2021 or 2022, but this little pinky color is one of my most used transition colors. I just find it really easy to wear. It's a color that looks nicely on my skin. It applies in a way that's just pigmented enough, but not too pigmented, not too hard to work with. And I just really enjoy having this. This is like one of those palettes where I don't use a ton of colors from it, but it's worth it to me because of the amount that I use the one that I use. I've traveled with it though, and definitely dipped into the other mattes, especially when I travel with it. So yeah, I didn't want to find that all of a sudden I use neither of them because I have to like use more brain power to get into them, but I really wanted it. I really wanted it for months, and I'm so happy that I got it. These are definitely more warm leaning neutrals, at least the ones that I use. I mostly use this one in my crease. It's what I have in my crease today, but I will use pretty much all of them. Actually, I don't know if I've ever used this like grayish one, but I really like it. I'm really happy that I have it. And in my makeup collection, I just keep them with the more neutral one in front, so I know that when I reach for them, more neutral is first and the more pinky is second. In December, I signed up for the Skylar Scent of the Month Club because I really wanted the one for December, which was Caramel Alps. And this one I do like. I don't love it. I'm not good at describing fragrances, okay? So don't expect a lot out of this. It doesn't smell very caramelly to me, but it has like a sweetness to it and a warmth to it that I do like. Then in January, the scent of the month was Sweet Morningside. There's literally, actually, I was going to say the ice cream. No, I think it's ice cream and coconut on the front of it, which is up my alley. And it's not like this fragrance isn't up my alley. It just smells very summery to me. It says it has like woody and earthy notes to it, warm, spicy. Like I was expecting it to feel a little bit more warm than it does. And overall, I think it smells more florally and coconutty than warm and sexy, but I do like it. Usually with these roller balls, I'll wear them like on my wrists when I'm going to bed, and I just really like the spa experience of having a light scent on when I go to sleep. So I do use it. It's just not my favorite fragrance, and it's the kind of thing that if it was available at Sephora and I had gone in and sniffed it, I probably would be like, oh, that smells nice, and moved on with my life. Around the end of January, I believe, is when I bought the Bella Beaute Bar Dead Roses palette. I did post a whole video on this too, where I swatched all of the shimmers and I shared all of my thoughts as a person trying Bella Beaute Bar for the first time. And I still feel positive about this palette. I still feel like it's a high quality palette, like I wasn't let down. But I will say, I've found myself just not reaching for it. I feel like with my tastes in makeup, I've just been reaching for more like interesting colors recently. And when I open this up, I'm like, okay, a lot of pinks, and then I close it. I've definitely worn some of the lighter shimmers since like filming with it, but I don't know. I open it up, I see pink, I see deeper shimmers, and then I close it. I could also see myself doing some kind of experiment sometime soon where I limit my makeup collection for a certain period of time, and I could imagine including this then to kind of like force myself to get more use out of it. Because like looking at it now, I'm like, I would really like to put these orangey reds on my lower lash line. I'd really like to see how that looks, even if I'm mixing it in with like a more neutral shadow on the lid or something. I just need to remember to do it, and I think sometimes when I find myself not experimenting with my makeup, it's because I'm looking at my makeup collection as too much of like a big, vast thing and feeling so overwhelmed with it, and if I could like narrow it down, rein it in a little bit, I could see myself getting more creative with the things that I'm like allowing myself to use. I will say though, the Bella Beaute Bar formula I'm very much on board with, and they just came out with the Secret Garden palette, which doesn't really interest me as a whole. I might have been more interested if it was the same size as the Dead Roses, but I just don't want to have two Bella Beaute Bar palettes that are like two vastly different sizes, and that one, it has a lot of like pink shadows in it also, I believe. So I feel like I have crossover already with this one. I don't know. Some of like the individual swatches, like I watched Millie Bad to the Brows video about it the other day, and some of those shimmers looked so good, but I'm holding out for a neutral palette from them. I really hope they come out with like a gorgeous neutral palette because I really like their matte and shimmer formulas, and I could see that being something that I get like a lot of use out of. I could see that being the palette that that I'm obsessed with. Like, I don't think I've been absolutely obsessed with the palette in a long time. There's been palettes that I've enjoyed various aspects of, but like I want that to be the one-stop shop that I open up to do my makeup. I don't know. We'll see. Please, Bella Beaute Bar, please. One of my favorite makeup purchases that I've made this year is the Shine by SD and Glam Smitty Garden of Love palette. This came out, I believe, in February. I ordered it right away. I was really excited about it, and I still feel really excited about it. I didn't make a video about this because they said it was like limited edition, and once it's gone, but it did come back 2 times, and I'm filming this video on Wednesday, and it's going out tomorrow, and right now there is still stock on this, so I mean, I'll say what I'm going to say. You make the decision that's right for you, but if you've been wondering if it's a palette that someone would recommend, I do recommend it. I really like it. First off, let me say, I think it's a great deal. It's $30, it's 6 shadows, and this little palette. And my experience with little magnetic palettes from Shine by SD in the past has been pretty negative. I had the Treasure pop-up palette. They might have repackaged it at some point, but the original format was so bulky and I hated it. It was like so unnecessarily bulky for 6 shadows. And then they released a magnetic palette option like to add on with their Duality collab with M. Jones 5018 and Bizarra Volta. And that, I guess like if you wanted them to, they would like glue the shadows in, but I wanted to just have it on the side, so they put magnets in, and then it was like the pans, the like little spots for the pans were too shallow to have the magnet and the shadow and then have it close. So like totally annoying, totally useless. So it seems to me that they've finally perfected the depth necessary to house 6 shadows and not have extra bulk in there. And actually I did a little overnight trip. We had an eclipse. A lot of you probably know a couple weeks ago we had like a big eclipse, and I live in like South New York. No one calls it South New York, but I live in Southern New York, and I had to go to Northern New York to see the eclipse. So when I did that, I emptied out this, I like put in the couple little shadows that I wanted to bring, and it was so convenient. I don't have a palette this small. I do have like a 9 pan, but even that feels so much bulkier than this little 6 pan does. So the shadows aside, I'm so happy to have this little magnetic palette. I like the shade of like red metallic too, and I like that you can see what you have inside. Inside the palette, we have, I want to say, one of my favorite shadows of all time. It's so dramatic, but Moonlit Tristan here, I absolutely love this. This shadow and the palette is worth the money to me alone. The thing that I like so much about this is it has like different colored sparkles in here, which is something that Shine by SD has done before. Ice Blink from Seeking Shifts and Shine by SD, I love that one too. It is quite different. I think that one's more of like cool tone sparkle, and this one feels a little bit more like warm tone sparkle, or more of like a prominence of like orange in it, but it also has a lot of green in it. The thing I like about this too is the formula is less chunky than other toppers I've had like this. And for that reason, I feel like this is such a versatile shadow. I've worn this all over my eyes. I've worn this layered over other shadows all over my eyes. I've also worn this as an inner corner because it has that like smooth quality that it just lays nicely. And because it has that like translucent base, it works for that task really well. I think I've already mentioned feeling a little bit overwhelmed by my makeup collection recently, and this is a shadow that I'm just like always excited to do something with, either just to wear it all over my lid or to experiment and try to find something new to do with it. And I think that's really cool. I feel like I am in a little bit of a funk where like makeup just feels like makeup. It feels like makeup is all the same, but then a shade like this comes along and I'm like, makeup is fun. Makeup is art supplies. Makeup makes me feel things. I'll swatch the other shades in here for you also. The shadow is like a dark like green and purple. I wore this all over my lid also, and I really, really liked it. I feel like the pink in there was bright enough that, I don't know, it kind of like spiced the whole thing up. Really pretty. This hot pink, I just tried this recently for the first time in my Patreon video for this month, which actually might not be up yet, but patrons, it's coming, and I really like it. And then also there's this deep green that I haven't worn yet. This one feels a little bit less special to me, but even in that like green sparkle is so bright. I love that. We also have this light pink Clandestine Kiss. I remember this looking really beautiful, but I'm actually not even sure if I've worn that. I need to get on that. And then lastly is this silver, which I think is just like a plain old shimmery metallic silver. I definitely haven't used that yet. I would pass on that if it was like, you know, a six pan where you're electing the shadows to purchase, but the fact that it comes in here, the value is already there for me. I'm so excited about this little six pan, and I think if you've been on the fence and it's still available tomorrow, which is today, I like it. I really like it. I do. At Ulta, I had more on my gift card, and I ended up buying this Charlotte Tilbury lip cheat in Iconic Nude. I feel like this is a particular shade of lip liner that people talk about a lot, and I do find it quite brown on me, but I really like it, and I feel like when I liven it up with something with like a little bit more pink to it, it does look very like nice and sexy. I should have worn it today. I didn't, but I feel like in a lot of videos recently, I've worn this with, oh, I don't even have it behind me, but like the Superstar lips from Charlotte Tilbury. I love that product, and like those two together, I feel like is a very sexy lip combo. And then I bought the Luxie Salty Clouds collection. We talked about that already. I made a whole video about it, and to summarize how I feel defeated. I feel like the shades, they're not bad shades, but they're not the Luxie shades that I've been recommending and enjoying for years. They're not like so good and they're only $3. They're like, okay, they're fine considering they're only $3. I have used them a couple times, but I will say the only reason that I've used them is because I wanted to gather some more info to report back on. Naturally, I did not have any interest in like the past month or whatever since I got them in reaching for them for like my own personal enjoyment. So here's my findings from using them for the purpose of reporting back to you right now. I used the purple shade Royalty in a look all over my eyes. That's a shade that at the time I was having trouble kind of like putting my finger on whether I liked it or not. And I did, for my own personal enjoyment, I swatch it compared to Once Upon a Time, and like when I put them on my eyes, I'm like, yeah, this is night and day. Like Once Upon a Time looks so shiny and wet and beautiful, and Royalty just looks like, I don't know, kind of flat in a way. Guess what I just got in the mail? So I wore royalty all over my eyes. I went over to my boyfriend's house. We make pita pizzas every time. I cut the onion. It was a particularly dank, juicy one, and I cried a lot. And then I don't know, paid no mind to my makeup, laid around, watched TV, and I looked at my makeup at the end of the night, and it looked totally fine. It was really totally undisturbed by all of the events of the day. I know with Luxie's more emollient shadows, I absolutely cannot count on them to last a full day. I have hooded eyes and I don't wear glitter primer, so if those things aren't true for you, you might have different experiences, but I found with Luxie shadows, I'm happy wearing them when like I'm putting my makeup on for fun, or I'm putting my makeup on for going out to dinner and I just need my makeup to last like a couple hours. But if I'm putting my makeup on for an entire day or an entire night, I expect the Luxie shadows to gather in my crease and be completely removed from my lid by the end of the night. And for that reason, I haven't been reaching for a lot of my Luxie shadows as much. It's like one of those like you can only have two things. It's like cheap, shiny, and long lasting. Because with some of my more expensive shadows, like with a lot of my Clionadh, Divina, and Terra Moon shadows, I can count on those to look incredible and last a long time. But if you add the inexpensive little tier of the triangle into there, it seems like I can either have them be sparkly or I can have them be long lasting in addition. And it does feel like, you know, different times call for different shadows, but at the same time, as someone who's not really concerned about like staying budget friendly when it comes to my eyeshadows, I'm happy to just wear one of my more expensive shadows if I want it to last all day. Like I love the inexpensive, don't get me wrong, but if one of them has to go, I'm knocking out the inexpensive. But I think it is worth noting if long lasting is something important to you, if inexpensive shadows are something important to you, or maybe you're not looking for the shiniest shadows in all the land, which I know a lot of people, they don't want to like sparkle up to the heavens, especially on like a daily basis. In which case, this new Luxie formula that their last collection was might be exactly what you're looking for. It wasn't bad. It didn't look bad. It just didn't look like a super high shine indie eyeshadow does. I also wore Stormy the other day. I had like a little bit of a vision in my mind where I would have Stormy on like the inner half and then the outer half would be kind of like dark brown matte. It didn't end up going exactly as planned. I ended up putting a little bit of Hottie, the like gold one that I liked, as like kind of a liner above the matte part, and I put a little bit of Royalty as kind of a liner above Stormy, but I just didn't really like the way that looked that much. I feel like I have so many other interesting neutrals that I would have preferred to use in place of Stormy. My next purchase was an order from Clionadh. I haven't bought anything from Clionadh in a couple months, and actually I had a gift card that my boyfriend had gotten me to Clionadh for Christmas that I hadn't used yet. There were a bunch of things I had my eye on, and it was kind of just like, you know, it's nothing pressing. I'm not planning on making a dedicated video about this, so it didn't feel like there was a time constraint. And it was like, whenever, like maybe when they have a sale or when there's a new launch I really want, then I'll just add on the other things that I've been wanting. And the thing that was my tipping point to ordering in March was that they were offering a gift with purchase. They have been doing this from time to time recently, and I think it's such a cool thing. Like, I feel like Clionadh's a big enough brand that like they don't have to give anything away for free. Like, people are buying it anyway, but the fact that they're like, I don't know, able and willing to do that, I think is really cool. So they were offering a choice of either this purple shadow called Happy Accident 2, which I believe the gist is that it's from like changing one shadow to another in their machines. It kind of like accidentally created that one. So it's like a one-time run. And then also the other option was a nail polish called Irish Moss. And when I saw that nail polish, I was like, I am making my order today. I mean, it wasn't today. I had a couple days, but I was like, I am making my order and getting that as my gift with purchase. So they said, just write your choice in the notes at checkout. And if you don't write a choice, then they'll choose one for you. And I was like, cool, got it. So I purchased 4 shadows. This is my first time ordering from them with their new like pressing engravement, you know, instead of it being like more of a puffed out pan with their little logo like this older one Duke is. I mean, not that older, it's from December. This one has like some more lines in it. I don't even think you could tell that well with this one. Has some more lines in it. Maybe you can tell now. So it's like a little bit more reminiscent of a stained glass window. And I feel like it looks really cool and chic and I like it. This was one I had been really excited for. They did their like 12 Days of Christmas bundle or something to that effect that they launched in like November or December, and it had a bunch of like surprise shadows in it. They ended up keeping some of the favorites and making them like permanent shadows. One of them is this shade Myrrh, which people were really talking about, and it just looked like a very unusual shade. I will say my review on this is that I haven't gotten to know it well enough yet. I'm gonna wipe these swatches off. It's a pretty unusual shadow. It has like a decent glow to it, but I wouldn't call it particularly shiny. Like, it's an interesting combination. It has this really subtle grass green base and then this like purpley bluish shift to it, but it doesn't even like feel like it has that much of a presence on my eyes. Like the one time I wore it, I put it all over my eyes and it felt like I need to find a better way to wear it than just like that. I don't know. So more experimentation needs to be done. I am feeling a little inspired. Face Forward Ivy on Instagram and YouTube. Love her content, love her Instagram. She posted a look the other day. I looked at what she had used at the time. It wasn't Myrrh, but it was something that I feel like I could recreate with Myrrh. She had like a grass green on the outer part of her eye and more of like a purplish bluish on the inner half of her eye. I'm saying this from memory. Maybe it'd be better described a different way, but looking at that, I was like, I could imagine doing a similar type of thing with Myrrh, and I might try that. I also got Sterling, which is the other one that I just held up. This, I don't know why I was so excited about it, but sometimes I just see a color and I'm like, that's the one. I don't know. I really liked it. It's brighter in person than I thought it would. And also, I couldn't tell from the pictures. I thought it might have some multicolored sparkle in it, but seeing it in person, I don't think it does. It just feels like a straight up metallic, like robin's egg blue. I thought it might be a little bit more like chromy or something. I don't know, it just feels very vibrant. I wore this all over my eye on Easter, actually, with this sweater. That's funny. And it just felt a little bit too jubilant, a little bit too youthful for like the type of looks that I've been enjoying recently. It didn't feel entirely like me. So I don't know, I think it's a nice shadow. It's a nice quality shadow. It definitely like does the brief in terms of like how, like the impact it makes. Like I think you could tell in my hand, Myrrh makes not that much of an impact, but Sterling really stands out. But it's the kind of thing that I feel like if there was a boutique of Clionadh and I was able to swatch these in person, I think I would have passed on Sterling, and I might have even passed on Myrrh. I don't know. The next shadow that I picked up is an older one. This is Hilt. When they came out with their expansion in summer of 22, I watched all these videos from all these people that did PR. I took notes. I took very detailed notes. I cross-referenced based on different people's like swatches about what I wanted. There was a couple kind of like weird ones that it wasn't instantly apparent like what their deal was. One of them being Mural, which I decided looked beautiful, and I mean, one of the best decisions of my life, you know? I love Mural so much, and I decided Hilt didn't look as special. But I feel like the thing with Mural is it's not like the boldest it could possibly be. Like, I think there's other shadows out there that are the same gist as Mural, but they're just more. But I like about Mural that it's not more. Please tell me you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I just talk and I'm like, this only makes sense in my brain? Like Mural, it has an aspect of it that's kind of like refined. It's not going to 100% on the scale just because it can. It's like at 60%, and that's part of what makes it perfect, you know? So I thought maybe Hilt would be the same kind of deal. It doesn't look like the boldest this type of shade comes in, but I was like, maybe it'll just have that like special something that makes it so captivating. I wore it once. I didn't love it. I don't know. I feel like in this case, that like bright blue base with the orangey red sparkle. I have Paleomon from Divina, which I really love, and that one is cranked up to 100, and I just feel like maybe with this color, I just prefer the cranked up to 100 version. Hilt just doesn't feel quite special enough for me to love it in this formula. Then the fourth shadow that I purchased from Clionadh is Orchard, and this is the one that I have on my eyes. And I was unsure about this because I think you could tell it's like a little bit darker than I tend to go with shadows. And when it comes to darker shadows, it's kind of a grab bag. A lot of the times I don't like them. Sometimes they have that special something and I love them. I think of like Hyperspace from Terra Moons as a good example of a darker shadow that I didn't know how I would feel about, and then I ended up loving it. This shade, I just think it looks so cool. I have it on my eyes right now. It has like a deep forest green base with really intense orangey red and gold sparkle to it. And also in certain lights, the forest green base, like it'll flip to like a bright, vibrant green. Really shifty shadow, really unique shadow. It does kind of remind me of Mural, but with like a darker base. But it doesn't feel too dark that it's off-putting to me. It just feels like so interesting and kind of sexy. Like I feel like the deepness of it makes it like a little bit sexy and mysterious, but it's not the darkest shadow ever, and it's really brightened up by all of the sparkle in it. And then I also got a couple nail polishes, all of which I've worn. I got Myrrh, which I believe I wore over a green. Not sure if I have a picture. If not, I'll just put up the product picture. I got Waltz of the Flowers, which came out with their like Christmas like nail polish equivalent of the eyeshadow bundle advent calendar thing. I really like the base color of Waltz of the Flowers. This like pinky purpley is so up my alley, but I feel like the yellow shift in it is so prominent that it almost looks yellow a lot of the time when I was wearing it. I've found that before with various things that shift to yellow. If I don't like the base color with yellow, I just don't like it. Like I've had shadows that are purple that have a yellow shift, and I don't really like that. So I don't know. Next time I wear this, I might try wearing it with a more pinky base, try to like just up the pinkiness of it. Some of these Clionadh shadows do come out a little bit sheer if you don't wear them with a base. So I think I'll try that next time. I got Statue Garden, which I feel like this is a shadow that the way people talk about it, it seems like it has that like je ne sais quoi where it's not turned up all of the way, but it's interesting for what it is. Because in swatch pictures, the shadow looks very like meh, but people love it. Maybe I'll try it eventually, but either way, the nail polish is like a really pretty like gray, blue, green with like pinky shimmers to it. Really interesting. I really liked it. And then the last thing, I know I was kind of rambling and I talked about the gift with purchase situation and then I just went right into my order. That's because they gave me the shadow and I really wanted the nail polish, and I was so sad when I ordered it. I was nervous after I checked out. I was like, if I don't get this nail polish, I'm gonna be so sad. And I know for a fact, I wrote in my little comments, Irish moss nail polish please, smiley face. I know for a fact I did that. And then I guess because I bought 4 shadows and 3 nail polishes, they decided I was a shadow girly, even though I wanted 4 and 4. So they gave me the eyeshadow. And yeah, I made a little story on Instagram because I was so sad. I talked to my friend Catherine B. Beauty, and she said, I wanted the shadow despite ordering all nail polishes. If I get the wrong one, like, do you want to trade? And I was like, yeah. So she did get the wrong one, and we did trade. I did reach out to Clionadh also about this, and they are so nice. Like, their customer service is so excellent. They showed me their record of my order where there was no notes. And I did say to them, I wonder, like, if it's just me, ignore me, of course, but I wonder if there's some communication issue with like their website and Shopify that's kind of like getting rid of the notes when you enter Shopify. And I feel like that is happening because I did hear that a couple other people were receiving the one they didn't ask for also. But I mean, I also said to Clionadh that like, I don't want to make, you know, I'm not trying to fault you for doing a nice thing for customers. I really just reached out to kind of be like, do you have any more Irish moss before I talked to Catherine? And they didn't. They were super nice, super professional, but I was bummed to see that I didn't get the one I wanted, but I was happy that me and Catherine were able to remedy it for each other, and I have Irish moss now. I will say in person, it's not quite as holographic as it looked in their Instagram video, but like up close and in the sun, you do see that. And I really like this type of tone on my nails, so I'm so happy that I have it. I know if I didn't have it, it would be like a forever, like, if only I had Irish moss, you know? So I'm pleased. I recently started following Kylie Cosmetics, and I'm interested in trying out their stuff. They seem like a very nice brand. But I've heard mixed opinions about the quality of their products, the quality of their shadows. Yeah, I mean, genuine question. Let me know if you'd be interested in me reviewing like some of their single shadows or maybe like a palette upcoming or something. Let me know. But they'll do these like little scavenger hunts from time to time where they just post on their Instagram like, we made a product free, you just have to pay shipping, limit one per customer, and you go to their website, you look around through everything and you find the free product. So they did one of those in March, and I ended up getting 2 lip glosses. I had investigated a couple of the scavenger hunts before and just wasn't interested in the product, so I didn't, but I was interested in these, and it was like $11 for shipping, so I paid $11 for these 2. This one is Cupcake, and I really like the tone of this. This is like really up my alley when it comes to lip products. It's like a pretty standard flat applicator, and this is a little bit more sheer on the lips than I would have guessed. Actually, I'll put a little bit on now. And it has a very like melony scent to it. Like the scent of a melon. Melony sounds too much like a word. Or a name. It's a name. Melony. But I think it does look quite nice over a lipstick. I found if I put a lip liner on, if I just do like the outline, you'll see it through this because it is a little bit sheer. But it does look nice. It's like a nice color in conjunction with other lip products. Did I need it? No. Is it really offering that much extra to my lip look? Not really, but I have it. It's cute. It's little. I'm trying it. It's fine. So it was 2 colors in the scavenger hunt. It was this one, Cupcake, and it was also this one, Damsel. I don't really have a statement lipstick right now, and that's the kind of thing I like having one. I like having one. Usually in a matte formula, because if it's more of a statement, I want some kind of assurance that it's going to stay in my lip line and it's not going to be like smudged over my face looking ridiculous, but beggars can't be choosers. I was buying a free lipstick, and it's this like deep purple. Let me do a little swatch. It's like a deep kind of like metallic purple gloss. I tried it on once. It looked cool. I was actually thinking about wearing it in this video, but then I feel like it wouldn't go with like the prairie vibes of this sweater. But I think when I wear it, I'll wear it over my dark brown lip liner. So stay tuned. Sometime I might just roll up here with a purple lip. You'll know what it is. Luxie, Luxie, Luxie. In their constant effort to mess with my head, the morning after I posted my video about the Salty Clouds collection, which I was very meh about, as we already talked about, they announced a new collection of neutral-looking, metallic, shimmery shadows. From the swatches, they looked really nice. I'm trying to not get my hopes up too much just because the last collection was such a disappointment in formula, and I've also been hearing murmurs of them changing the formula on some older products also. So I'm kind of feeling now like does the old formula, like does the formula that I own in my personal makeup collection, does that still exist for them? Is anyone getting that formula when they order from them anymore? I don't know. So I did order the new collection. I'm hoping it's nice. I'm like, I love the feeling of getting a Luxie order and getting some gems. So like I still have high hopes for it, but they're very skeptical high hopes. At the same time, they also restocked their mattes, and I ordered 18 of them. I ordered some that I already had, just kind of like as a backup, because I'm like, whatever, they're never in stock, they're $3, why not? I also ordered a bunch of shades that I haven't tried yet. Hopefully that formula is the same as the mattes from them that I know and love. But yeah, after I get that order, I will do a video ice swatching the new collection, and then later on I'll do a video where I talk about all of the mattes. And I also, little sneak preview, I also may have ordered some more shadows from Luxie more recently than that, and I may be seeking to discover if Luxie's old shadows are the same as the ones you could buy from Luxie today. So Luxie takes a while to ship. I don't know when these are coming out, but some Luxie content will be on this channel eventually. Okay, a couple more things to talk about. The Sephora sale came at the start of April, and I actually filmed like a little kind of like vlog in my car talking about it. I figured like vlogs feel more appropriate for my other channel, so even though it's a vlog talking about makeup, I think I'll post it there. I also haven't looked at the footage. I also feel kind of uninspired about that channel. So I don't know. Let me know if you want me to edit that and post that there. A lot of what I bought was replacements. I kind of talked through my whole like thought processes and eliminations and everything in that, but I bought a couple more fun products. And let me tell you, my favorite one, which is this little fragrance here. This is the 5 Cents in Too Deep. I'm pretty sure they're a pretty new fragrance brand. At least they're pretty new to Sephora. They came to Sephora with, I believe, 3 fragrances sometime last year, and I had sniffed them all in store. I had no interest in them. I saw they were coming out with this, but I feel like a lot of times with fragrance houses, it's like either I like the fragrance house or I don't. Like, I like a lot of Skylar perfumes. I don't like a lot of Fleur perfumes, you know? But I sniffed this and it smelled amazing. And they didn't have any of the roller balls. And then I went over to another little section where they have like a whole like little mini bar of roller balls. And there was another person looking at it, so I'm kind of like looking around her back and I don't see it. But later I walked by that again and there was no one else there, and I dug through. I like looked through every single one, and within a bunch of the roller balls of the one with like the red label, there was one of this one. And I bought it and it smells so good. I've been wearing this. I got a little bit of the alcohol in my nose. I've been wearing this like every day since I got it, other than the couple of times that I've been trying to test out another scent, which we'll talk about in a second. But this just smells so good. Here's what I think about it. I think it smells like Missing Person from Fleur. That is a scent that went kind of like viral a couple years ago, and I did buy the rollerball because I went to Sephora. I thought it smelled good, and I realized that it just smelled so strong that I hated it. Sometimes I'll like bring my perfume to work when I go into the office, and I'll spray it if like I want a little pick-me-up, or if like the office smells like fish, and that would give me such a headache that I'm like, I could only use this outside. And often I'm not hanging out outside spraying perfumes. So I ended up getting rid of that. But yeah, this to me smells like a softer version of Missing Person, but it also smells kind of like berries. So it's kind of like musky, vanilla-y, and berries. And I'm obsessed with it. I think it smells so good. I really like it. The only annoying thing about this packaging is that I won't be able to see like what my level is. So it's gonna be one day I'm just gonna have a surprise and it's out, but I mean, I've had it for like a couple weeks, so we'll see how the future unfolds, and I'm sure it'll be a long time before I run out of this, but right now I feel like I'm definitely gonna buy another one when I run out of this. I haven't been excited enough about a perfume to be like carrying them around in my purse recently, and this is one that like I leave the house, I throw this in my purse. And also, it has really good lasting power. There's other perfumes that I have to put in my purse because I won't be able to smell it on my wrist anymore after like a couple hours, but this, I will smell on my wrist 12 hours later. I'll spray it at night, in the morning I'll still smell it on my wrist. But sometimes I do want to reapply it just to like get another little like another little rush of the perfume in my little nostrils, and I really like it. My other scent-related purchase from the Sephora sale is this little 4-pack trial thing of the new Forever Mood fragrances. When I read the description of the Forever Mood fragrances when they were announced, I was like, those sound like me. Like, words like musk, sandalwood, vanilla, coconut, like those are the things that interest me in a fragrance. And there seems to be a lot of that in here. Or it even says in here, it's like vanilla frosting, vanilla bean, red velvet pear raspberry. Cool, sign me up. I had been looking for this. It was out of stock online. It said it was out of stock in all the stores near me, but then when I went into my store, it actually was there. And I quickly sniffed the bottles that they had out. I was like, yeah, I think they smell good, so I bought this. And I don't know if it's just because it's been so overshadowed by this 5 cents one. I actually thought it would be the opposite when I bought these, but these just, I'm not very impressed. I'm not impressed at all by these. The times that I've used them, I feel like the fragrances smell very generic. I need to like take specific notes about them to wrap my thoughts together. But the fragrances smell very generic to me. They smell very like walking through Macy's and there's little scents flying everywhere. And also the lasting power is not good, which has been nice for me because it's like, I'll spray one of these, I'll try it out. 2 hours later, I'm like, all right, it's time for my 5 cents one again. But yeah, I really thought I would love these. I think if I had to choose one at this moment, I think I like Hard to Get the best, which is described as lemon, jasmine, and vanilla frosting. I think it was this red velvet pear raspberry one that I sprayed, and I actually went and washed my wrist off because I didn't want to live with that scent on me. I just didn't like it that much. So yeah, my review on this right now is I was excited about it, but very unimpressed. Also, I bought the Westman Atelier mascara in brown. I might do a video about it. Let me know if you're interested. My final order of business is that I want to talk about Electrum. I had done a video. It might have been towards the end of 2022, perhaps, or maybe it was like spring of 23. Not positive. Either way, I had bought a couple shadows. I was mainly inspired because a commenter had recommended one as an alternative to a Terra Moon shadow whose formula I didn't like. And this shadow from Electrum, Lyra, is so like bold and magnificent. I really did like it. I had ordered 2 other shades in that bunch though, and I wasn't as impressed with those, but Lyra I really liked. However, after ordering them, I just felt kind of unsure about the brand. I feel like as someone who sometimes can influence people to buy things, I don't want to recommend brands that I'm not positive you'll get the best customer service from if anything goes wrong. And based on what I had heard, it sounded like they kind of fell into that category, so I wasn't too inspired to like buy from them or talk about them. But sometimes I kind of feel conflicted as someone who, you know, might recommend makeup and as someone who just wants to enjoy makeup, because like maybe I'm willing to take that risk for myself, but I don't want to recommend that risk to you. So because of that, I did decide to order again from Electrum, but I didn't feel inspired to like make a whole video about it and to influence people to buy it. So now here at the end of this video, I'm going to report to you my thoughts on Electrum after trying them again. So here's my little Electrum collection on this side of the palette. This one up top is Lyra. That's the one that I've had for longest. Then these 5 I ordered, I think sometime around Black Friday, and then they were delivered in January. And then in January, they did another little stock, and there was one that I really liked, and I made an order in January too. Those haven't shipped yet. I thought they were supposed to ship by the beginning of April, but then the most recent correspondence I got from them said that they'll ship by the end of April. Today that I'm filming is April 24th and they have not shipped yet. I don't even remember what I got, but I remember one kind of looked like Grisaille from Clionadh and I was excited about it. I don't know. They also had some like Misfits, which are their kind of like one-off shadows, and I just ordered this one in March, I believe, and this one obviously did arrive already. So there's the background knowledge. Here's the shade Bloodbath. I think I was just interested in how the colors kind of would mash together, but I just picked it up and it's like so thick. There's like so much product that I just picked up from like one little swatch, and that just looks like vibrant red. But I bet if I picked it up from somewhere else in the pan, I might get some more of the silver and it might mix together to be like a little bit more of a pink. This one is Shake Your Pom Poms. I really like the colors of this one. I feel like they have so many dark ones, and I'm always nervous about that on their website too, that things are gonna come darker than I expect. And they also have a lot of like pinky purples. But this is one, like that looks so shifty, so beautiful. Like the swatches you can get from Electrum shadows really are quite impressive. This one is Conjuring. It kind of fits in that like pinky purple camp that I really like. And this one feels softer on the swatch. I think the last one felt more like, I don't know, more like hard shards being picked up. This is Resting Beach Face, a really pretty pink that I just included in last week's video. Really like that one too. Pretty shifty, not quite as shifty as Shake Your Pom Poms though. The next one is Aster, which is darker than I thought it would be. It's also a very thick formula. And this one doesn't swatch as well, I feel like, because it's so thick. But even like picking it up, like I see the flakes coming up in the pan and dropping off of my arm. And then this is Misfit M100. This one I was particularly drawn to. Like I made its own special order for it because I've really been enjoying interesting neutrals, and this looks exactly that with like multicolored sparkle in it. I think you can see in the swatch, it really does look beautiful, but let me tell you my review of that along with the others. The other ones I did try out when I got them in January, and I haven't been reaching for them, so it's been a little bit longer since my experience with those, but wearing them the one time made me not excited to wear them more. Like for instance, Orchard, I got this one a couple weeks ago and I've worn this I think about 4 times, which considering how big my makeup collection is, it shows that if I try something and I like it, I do continue to reach for it. The Glam Smitty Moonlit Tryst shadow from Shine by SD, I've probably worn that like 8 times since February because I really enjoy it. These I each wore once. So this Misfit one, I just got it, I wore it, actually same conditions as my experiment with Royalty from Luxie. I wore it to my boyfriend's house. We made pita pizzas. We make pita pizzas every day. I cried from the onion, watched TV for a while, and I came back and my eyeshadow was just a ring in the crease of eyeshadow. You know, I said also with Luxie, with the little chart, you can have long-lasting, cheap, and shiny. You can only pick 2. But I feel like with Electrum, they were like, we'll choose shiny 2 times. We'll have 2 shinies and no long-lasting, no cheap. I might ruffle some feathers here because I know Electrum has a lot of diehard fans, and I think a lot of people love that you'll get shadows so much more shiny than you'll get from a lot of the other indie brands that people think of for shiny shadows. But I kind of feel like with Electrum, you get shiny shadows at the expense of everything else. Like what I was saying about Clionadh before, about some of their shadows have this like je ne sais quoi. It's like they could turn the dial up to 100, but they choose not to, and makes the shadows kind of more like interesting and refined. I think Electrum turns the dial up to 200. Like maybe Clionadh would say, we go up to 100 because after 100, that's when the formula suffers. Electrum's like, I don't care, we're making them shiny. And I think that leads to some impressive swatches. Like I can tell when I look at them that a lot of them are more shifty, more sparkly than you get from other brands, but in use, in wearing them, I just don't think they last very well. And I think a lot of the times they're too intense. And all that's not even mentioning the fact that it takes months to get your order, which is something that, you know, I understand some brands do, but overall, I just don't like it. Like, I feel like it's a shadier business tactic to collect people's money and then months later give them the product that they ordered. So I try to not recommend brands that often have super long wait times. So yeah, still waiting on my order from nearly 4 months ago from them. And after I get that, I kind of feel like I'm not going to be purchasing from Electrum anymore. Like I feel like I fully researched them for my own purposes and I have my answers now and I don't need to keep trying. But I do feel like even though I'm not gung-ho at Electrum and even though I'm probably not going to keep all of these shades forever, like Shake Your Pom Poms does look beautiful and there's going to be a circumstance where I'm getting ready and I'm not going to have my makeup on for very long, but I want it to be super cool and shifty and intense and I'm definitely going to reach for that. So, okay, and actually we have one last thing. As I mentioned before, I'm a member of the Skylar Scent Club. I got it in December and January. Those are the 2 I showed before, and I skipped it the other months. I thought I skipped it in April also, but I didn't. I mean, I believe the fact that I didn't. I don't think it was like an internal issue. I believe that I just forgot to do it and absentmindedly thought that I did do it. So I got an email the other day that it had been shipped. And I emailed them back and I was like, hey, can you cancel that? And they were like, it already left our warehouse, but when you get it, you can refuse it. And then I was just like, this sounds like an ordeal. It sounds like sometimes things happen and I'm like, this is just gonna piss me off too much. And I just would rather just choose to not be pissed off and have spent $26 on something that I didn't mean to. Cause I'm like, would they refund the shipping then? I don't know. So I got it delivered and I'm just going to open it and hopefully I'm not going to take one sniff and be like, I screwed up. I should have tried to get any money back that I can. But the reviews on it sounded pretty good. And it has amber, which I think I like amber. Kind of learning more about my fragrance profile as time goes on. So we'll do a little blind sniff, shall we? Here it is. Sunflower Solstice. It says it has sunny lemon, sunflower petals, golden amber. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. I need to. Is there like a master class I could take about describing scents? Because I really enjoy scents. Oh, it kind of smells like a Jolly Rancher. I feel like my boyfriend's gonna like this on me. It smells like something so particular that I cannot put my brain on. But it does smell kind of like light and summery. Like I like the whole vision of it as like a summer sunset type of scent. And although this probably isn't something that I would have bought if I smelled it in Sephora, I really could see myself using this as my nighttime scent a lot of the time in the summer. Because it does kind of smell like laying in a big field of sunflowers. And it's kind of like dusky out. Okay, I'm down. Not totally regretting my $26 mistake. Okay, so that's everything for today. I feel like this was such a roller coaster of a video. I hope it was fun to watch. I've been feeling a little bit repetitive in my content recently. It just feels like a lot of overhead single shadow stuff, so it's kind of fun to like switch it up, talk face to camera. I would love to hear if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see me do in the upcoming, I don't know, weeks or months. I would really love to hear that, especially because I've been feeling a little bit like stuck in doing one thing. I always love suggestions. I've done a lot of suggested videos in the past, so please, if you have any, let me know. Me and Vince Vaughn really appreciate it. I also have a Patreon. I'm going to have a link down below. I also have a fashion channel. I'm going to have a link down below. And I have a couple videos filmed for that I need to get my butt on getting those up. Let me know if you want to see that Sephora vlog that I mentioned, even though we're past Sephora sale season. But I mean, a video is a video. I always watch things late anyway, so does it really matter if I post it late? I don't know. Either way, if you enjoyed this, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate you being here. I will see you very soon. Bye!